Welcome back, everyone. It's New Mutator, and I'm bringing you, uh, well, it's Kickballers by organized by Rat King, and yeah, this is game three of the first week in which Donsky and myself kind of squared off here. So this map name is Mjilaphobia. I don't know how to pronounce it. If you know how to pronounce it, let me know. But this was, I believe this was Donsky's second pick. And to be honest, I didn't know if we were going to be able to pull it out coming in because I'm not very good at dark maps, but I know enough to get maximum fetch, maximum, whatever, blah blah blah. And I kind of took a page from GKG's book in the trade that I get for this map, which we'll see later on. But yeah, so the series so far is tied at 1 game apiece. Let's take a look at our players here. Donsky has, well, he took Arsenic, Ankulator, Mercadon, Cheery Day, Alucard, and he's picked up another player, Obelix, who I'm not really too sure who that is or their skill level, but hey, at least the teams are even now. For my team, I got Giant Killer General. I have Rat King, Milkman, Sam the Butcher, Renwood, Viper Power. Pretty solid team, I think. I was pretty happy with my team coming into this game. So this is the trade that I got, no Solus, and let's look at pardon me. This is Donsky's trade, and he actually didn't get any Solus either, believe it or not. I think this is Donsky's trade. He actually got a white there. So yeah, I didn't get any Solus, and I think other players were like, "What? Why'd you get? How come you didn't get Solus?" Blah 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 blah. And GKG's like, he backed me up on this. He's like, "Hey, we don't need it." So I did get one Maul for blocking lock shots or whatever, and I think I think we do have an extra Warlock compared to Donsky's team, but I have maximum Mercuria and as close to maximum Berserks that I could get, 25 out of 30, because I took that extra Warlock, and then I got that Maul, just basically for locking or blocking Warlock shots. And so, pretty similar trade, although no Mauls for Donsky. I assume he got a little bit more Berserks because he got one fewer Warlock than us. So this is kind of an interesting map. It's a little bit dark and kind of hard to see. But yeah, Giant Killer General outlining the strategy for this, just ignore their Solus, but they didn't take any Solus, even though Milkman's saying Solus are good. And I agree, Solus are good, but I think with the player makeup on our team, I didn't think it was necessary to get Solus or beneficial. I didn't think it would be beneficial for us to get Solus for this particular map. And the reasoning being that I needed players to focus on other more pressing matters, using kind of different unit sets than Solus. The tendency with Solus is to camp, and I needed players to play a little bit more aggressively with their units. So this time I kind of learned from game 1, and I split the fetch up 2 ways. Giant Killer General has 3 fetch, and I think Rat King has the other 3 fetch, because I figured, why not give the fetch to my top 2 picks. Everyone else will have a Warlock, and I think I myself am just taking a few Berserks to kind of run around with and just kind of run interference. Now Donsky is scouting the south with this Mercuria, but Rat King is out of position. Our entire southern flank is just out of position because this is where the north is. I don't know if Donsky is going to respond to this and send units into the south or not, but basically they could crush us in the north, and I think they realize this, and they might kind of press the attack here. I'm gonna retreat with my Berserks. I'm just kind of scouting this area out because I want to see what they're doing, and while my team kind of sets up, I take a barely any damage there. I did take a little bit of damage. All right, I'm a little bit embarrassed, but it wasn't too big a deal. Now the thing we need to do here is we need to get these fetch kind of up top, up here. So Milkman is going to retreat. Renwood is probably going to retreat here, although Enculator could probably press this attack and maybe do some damage. But so I think Rat King is going to kind of press this flank here. He is going to try to like move in from the side, and I think GKG is going to walk up here and maybe get up top so that we can kind of be in a better position. That poor plant. What did it ever do to you? So Enculator, actually I think Donsky is splitting up his fetch 3 ways. So that's kind of what I did the first game, and it didn't really work out too well for us. So we'll see how it works out for Donsky's team here. Now the thing that Rat King needs to be on guard against is this white here. That could really, really hurt if he moves in and takes out some of this artillery, which he may do. I don't know if he realizes that this white is there, but he is firing into the water to kind of prevent that from happening. Trying to take out this white, but I think this white should have moved in already by now, because I think Rat King is satisfied that there's nothing in there. So he's going to start moving in, but unfortunately he's just so slow that he's not going to be able to catch that Warlock there. So unfortunately Rat King is going to back up into this and take a lot of damage, and Vive for Power is actually backing up right into that white, and he's probably going to lose. Oh, and some friendly fire there. That is not working out very well at all, both of those Warlocks being taken out. Meanwhile, this is happening. I think Enculator's fetch were all taken out somehow. I didn't quite see that because I was watching this go down. But even though this went poorly for our team, we're kind of at a disadvantage. Rat King's flank is at a disadvantage here. We actually cleaned up in the north here, so we're actually doing really well. And as I think Enculator just basically got cleaned up. And I don't know if I have any. I don't think I have any kills. I'm just basically running around in circles. I'm not much help to my team at all in pretty much any game.
5 minutes.
And unfortunately, Rat King loses another Mercuridia. And yeah, so Mercredon is going to press the advantage here, backed up by Arsenic. Vive for Power is going to try to swoop in and maybe flank this, whoever this is, Alucard, which may work. Now the problem was that while all this is happening, well, we'll see. We'll see in a minute. But what happens is GKG actually disconnects and forces me to kind of redistribute some units, and that kind of puts me off balance. And I don't know what happens after that, but we'll just have to find out.
Flag.
So basically what's happening is, because of that white, that really well-placed white, Rat King and company are just in a really bad spot here. And fortunately, he just keeps losing Mercuridia left and right. Now, if you wonder why Mercredon didn't shoot that Mercuridia, it's because he knew it was going to aggro on Rat King's very own unit, so he just let it do its thing. And so there's going to be, basically we have most of the flags at this point. We just need this flag here. If we could somehow sneak around and take that flag, that would be great. That's probably what I should have done, but instead I'm like down here doing whatever. And because Giant Killer General just left the game, I'm not. That's like the furthest thing from my mind, is doing that. But you know, if I had a lot of melee, I would have just tried to run in there, possibly. Somehow I would have tried to make it work somehow. Now Rat King is going to try to move up and take the flag, but you know, Mercredon is going to try to counter. And Milkman actually taking a little bit of damage on that Berserk. So while this is all happening, I'm basically moved the fetch way back here because I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what's going on. I'm like, who can fetch right now? I don't want to do it because I would probably hurt our team if I were to do that. I think the correct response would have been to split them up. Unfortunately, I didn't have a whole lot of time to make that decision, And I'm trying to juggle all these things. Like, I need to make sure that nobody gets rushed and taken out in the ensuing fray. And I'm not very good. I'm not really good at responding very quickly. So that's kind of the thing. And I also inherited GKG's units like running around in circles. So I think I lose this one by mistake here. I tried to retreat with him at the last second, but I do have these ones. So I'm trying to juggle these guys at the same time as all this is happening, trying to redistribute those units. So we were off to we have momentum. We got 15 percentage points compared to Donsky's team. We kind of have a lead here, but what we don't have are dedicated taggers, and I think that kind of put us at a disadvantage also. So I think losing GKG really hurt, because it was just at that moment when we had kind of some momentum here. But Renwood's going to move in. He is probably going to take a little bit of damage here, but not a whole lot. He does manage to survive, and he's going to try to press on this flag. I think he may be able to do it. He needs to not back away. You need to move in. Oh, and force that. Oh, but unfortunately he doesn't move in. I think he could have done that. We could have done that, because if these guys engage, then Milkman engages. So close. This is kind of like a heroic defense here on the part of Donsky's team. But even if we do take this flag, all of a sudden our flag advantage has dwindled, and we're suddenly, even though we do have a 10% lead or so, all of a sudden we are down in flags. And so I have these two Mercuridia running around, but we are down 4 flags to 2. There's 30 seconds remaining. This guy's over here. He's waiting to tag this flag here, and even though we did take this flag, we need some units on these other flags. So we need to send somebody over here to keep this flag. We need to send somebody over here to keep this flag. Fortunately for us, I am able to tag this flag. So we were up momentarily, but there's sudden death, and then game over, and we lose somehow. I'm not really sure how does that do that? Did you see what happened? Because I think we were up 4 flags to 2, then they tied it, and then we lost. So I'm not quite sure how that happened, because we did manage to tag this flag here, and I did manage to save this flag here at the last second. So we were up 1 flag, and then all of a sudden we're tied at 3 flags apiece, and then, but if you look at the permanent, we actually lost. So I'm not really sure how that does. Can somebody kind of clear this up? Like, how does that score exactly? I would have thought that it would have gone to the last team to have a lead, but if anything, I would have thought it would have been a tie, but I guess not. Anyway, so this was kind of a game that was ours to lose, and in fact we did. I'm not going to blame it on GKG disconnecting at the last second, but I think that had a lot to do with my ineptitude as a captain and being able to respond very well. Like, that kind of put me in a position that I'm not very comfortable in taking the reins, and I think as a result I kind of let us down as a team. We did manage to kind of keep our lead in terms of units, but the flag lead, I just wasn't able to secure that for our team, because I was just I couldn't really respond. I couldn't really react in a way that would let us do that. So I don't know. I blame myself for this particular loss, but I am kind of curious as to why it scored it as a loss. But maybe you can hopefully clear that up for us. Looking at the individual players, let's look at Donsky's team since his team won. Mercurion actually did incredible. 10 kills, 3 losses, 73 damage for him. I think he pretty much carried his team this game. And I think he was the one opposite Rat King, so he just did an incredible job of kind of balancing the losses his team took up here in the north. and keeping them in the game so that they were able to kind of pull through in the end and win on flags. As you can see, I hardly did anything. And actually, Renwood doing really well with 98 damage, 9 kills, 3 losses. So actually, Renwood did an amazing job this game. Unfortunately, we don't know how Giant Killer General did, but I imagine he did pretty okay, I guess. I don't know. What's really curious to me is the fact that I don't know. I don't know if this is calculating it right because Giant Killer General, I think he had some kills, right? He did some damage, but he did leave early, so I don't know if it's factored into these totals or not. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Good game to both teams. I think everyone played pretty well for the most part. And so now at this point, Donsky's team is leading 2-1 as we move into game number 4. So thanks for joining me, and see you in the next game.